Good morning, everyone. You have tuned in to the Red Peace Machine. I am Roy Woody, and I am joined by Dr. Madanenejad, Dr. Casagranda, and also Susie Sheeler. How's everyone doing this morning?
Hey,
Good morning.
Well, now I'm feeling inferior because I'm not a doctor.
Me either.
It's really easy to get.
It's really easy.
Well, from what I understand, you can do it online.
Yes.
I think a lot of our senators have done it online.
Yeah, that's what we should have done.
Next life.
You could just go be a rapper, right? And then you could be like Dr. Dre.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, or Lil Nas X.
Oh, speaking of Lil Nas X, have y'all heard what happened with him?
I heard some stuff. What is? I mean, I heard something about bloody shoes. What happened?
Something about Satan too. Like I don't know what was happening.
Lots of Satan stripper stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm totally into. So.
Yeah, interesting. Because like on Twitter, everyone was talking about that shoe he made, and he's gay, and he came out as gay, and then so a lot of people were like, yeah, we got to get rid of him. They tried to sell some folks on religious canceled him, and then he made this shoe that's it's a Nike shoe, but it's the Satan XXX shoe. It has a pentagram on it, and it says that it has like blood in it, human blood in it, but I doubt that. But and so he made the shoe, and then people attacked him on Twitter and all these other platforms. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna make an apology video, and it ended up being a music video. Was the apology video. And it starts out with him in the Garden of Eden being seduced by a snake, and the snake was him pretty much. And then he dies. He's going to heaven, and he's like, nah, I don't want to go here. And then the stripper pole comes out, and it's this long stripper pole, and he goes all the way down to hell.
Oh my God, that is fascinating.
You got to see the video. It's crazy.
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant video. And he's been trolling. He's been trolling people for so long since he came out. And just because the frankly, the Black community, the rap community at any rate, came out and said, no, we don't do this. This is not who we are. We're men, and he came out.
What, Susie? Trolling or
be gay?
Oh, be gay.
Yeah. And then he did, I think he did Old Town Road before he came out. So everybody was already like, what's going on with this? I mean, I think the rap pop community was like, we don't really know what to do with this, but we like it. Hey. And then the country community was like, no, this is not country. And so they refused to even entertain. It was with Billy Ray Cyrus. And I don't think you can get any more country than Achy Breaky Heart.
Yeah.
So I think that's an issue for, I think, the Black community, and specifically he really tried to do that, and he's just been so hated on by everybody. I love his messaging now. He's like, oh yeah, well, let's do it. Let's really do it. And he tweets out the funniest things just randomly. I love him, but it is interesting to me that white people have been able to cross over and do rap and be very successful. Eminem.
And they praise him as like, he's the best rapper ever.
Yeah.
Forget everyone else. Like,
it's way beyond crossing over and succeeding. It's it's the white version, and so it's more palatable. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, I don't see any Black person being able to get away with that. His opening song, which was Slim Shady. If a Black person came out with that song, they would have been like, what is this mess? This is trash. I think personally.
Well, the idea, I personally, I'm going to say this. I think Eminem is a fucking genius. And I really do. Slim Shady is his shadow self. And he's digging really deep if you listen to some of the stuff, and it's all about him. It's all about his own insecurities. If you listen or read some of his lyrics, I think you would be astounded at how introspective he is. But that doesn't mean that he's the greatest rapper ever. I mean, it just means he's good at that.
He's
That's
really good at it.
great.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's not, I mean, he's no Dr. Dre. That's, I mean, and I don't know any of the newer ones because that's who I listened to was, Dre. But I think that there are a lot of people who aren't. I know that the Latino community can easily play into country. They're very that's accepted. But why not the Black American experience a lot of Black people grew up in Texas, much to their chagrin.
I mean, isn't country music Southern music? And I mean, if you've ever looked at a map of the United States, county by race, there is a swath of the South that is Black.
I'm sorry. Can we just one name, Ray Charles? Like,
oh yeah,
I think we're just done.
Georgia on my mind. Yeah.
So I think what country music has just done is it's outed itself in the same way the Republican Party has.
Well, can we talk about Mickey Guyton?
Right. And they've made it so it's a white space. It's like La La Land. It's a movie about jazz because Black people created country music anyway. It's a movie about jazz where there's no Black actors in it, right?
Yeah.
That's the best kind. Or they have someone play a Black actor. I mean, a white person play a Black person. I mean, that's happened so often. Or the crying Indian. You remember the crying Indian?
Yeah, he was a white guy.
No, it was an Italian.
He was, well, I mean,
Italians are not white. That's a hill I'm gonna die on. Europeans are not the Latin European countries are not white people. I mean, I think
there's a bunch of white people who agree with you.
I got a lot to say about that.
Okay.
I know.
Are we going there? Are we doing this?
Well, especially in America, right?
Well, no, I'm
talking about people in Europe.
Well,
no, but in the United States, Italians will never be fully white.
Exactly.
Oh no, this is just in the context of the U.S. We're talking.
No,
white
I'm not talking about.
I
was saying Europeans, like people who are Italians who live in Italy. I don't consider them white.
Well, they don't have the white culture that we do here, in the sense that they don't. They have a different sense of time. They have a different sense of family values. They have a different relationship to work. Like, those are what we have here, which is white culture, is very much Protestant, first of all, Protestant based, and is very intertwined with a certain kind of rabid capitalism. And in that sense, but just in the context of the United States, Italians were not white when they got here. They were not considered white. They became white. And at the moment, they are pretty much there. Like, y'all can disagree about the delta. They got to go still. That epsilon of movement they still have to do. Yes, maybe they'll never reach. And in fact, none of us will ever reach the WASP. The WASP is supposed to be at the top of the pyramid and the hierarchy. So in that sense, maybe. But here's the thing, like, remember, in the, what happened?
It's okay, just give me a second.
In what's it called? The census, we have the category Hispanic, and then we have white Hispanic. This is all this process of making folks who are non-white white. So it's a process of becoming white, and it's to bolster white numbers, to remain. But those white Hispanics will never ever be white. Never. It's always you're in the limit. You will not reach there, because there needs to be that hierarchy. But you can in the census be called white, like Middle Easterners. Yeah. I mean, the funniest thing is that the greatest enemies since 9/11, Arabs and Iranians, and the always undercover terrorists, like potential terrorists, sleeper cells, are all of a sudden considered white. Are you effing kidding me? But it's not all of a sudden, since 1908. Yes, but like the conversation has been and the resistance to making a whole new category.
No, I
the
totally
Census Bureau was going to do the new category in the first months Trump became president. And I can tell you, I did not want the new category created, because then what?
Yes.
So
then,
I'm going to mark on the Census Bureau, please come get me when the concentration camps are fired up.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, that's
That's
like what
exactly
I'm
you.
doing now.
so okay. I'm sorry. That is a good thing to bring up, because I was thinking about this just the other day with the redistricting and all of this stuff. Like, I didn't want to fill out the census, quite frankly. And I understand that the two are tied together, but I personally don't want the government knowing that I'm a homosexual, and where I fucking live.
Well, is that something that you get to put on the census?
Yeah.
If it's the long form, not the short form. If you got
What's that? I didn't see that. Okay.
the majority of people get the short form. The long form allows you to add a bunch of personal details.
And because they're trying to find out what they say, they're trying to find out what funds to put in what part of the districts, and also for the redistricting itself.
But if you
Like
get
how-
the long form, you don't have to fill anything out you don't want to fill out. And you can put anything you want down. So for example, when it says nation, you could put down Martian, and they will record it as Martian.
Right, but then what's the point? Why just not do it at all?
Because you need to be counted. So if you just put your name and if they require that, right, if it's the long form, or if you just put the number of people that live in your household on the short form, then at least you've been counted.
So I have to say, Susie, what you just said, and also the fact that I've never filled out the census. This last year, Roy did it for me. It shows something else, which is our sense of insecurity as far as the I goes, right? Which is, okay, I just want to be below the radar because I know they're going to nick me somehow, right?
Exactly.
And that's an interesting sort of
fear.
And it has
facts.
happened. In the 30s,
right.
the Nazis bought the census data from IBM so that they could find out where all the Jews lived.
From IBM?
From IBM.
That's just, it's okay. All right, just real quick, before we get into the voter suppression thing, the Black country thing, I'd like to just promote the woman, Mickey, what's her last name? I'm sorry.
Guyton. Mickey Guyton.
Guyton. She is breaking through. And for a long time, it was really hard for women to break through, and they did. They were considered silly. And then, of course, Dolly Parton and Loretta Lynn, I think, changed that around. But again, Black people seem to have been put in a box.
Yeah.
What you guys make this kind of music, and that's what you make. You can make jazz, and you can make rap, and you can make rock and roll, but that's it. So go ahead.
It's that fear that they're taking over everything, right? Especially I mean, yeah.
Country music is very white.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is it has Black roots. To me, it's like the Henry Ford thing with dance. So, right? He's seeing all these like swing dance and all these dance moves that have come from Black culture that have been adopted by white culture. And he thinks, this is what Henry Ford believed. He believed that Black people were incapable of coming up with these things on their own. So what Jews were doing, because Jews were trying to destroy the world, is they were going and teaching Black people Black culture and Black dance, and then white people were adopting it, and that's how Jews were going to destroy us, was through dance. So Henry Ford decided, I've got the solution. I'm going to I'm going to promote white dance, and it was square dancing, and he spent millions of dollars making all these clubs and getting square dancing going, and it became real popular, and people start square dancing. And of course, square dancing was invented by Black people. And if Henry Ford only knew that, he could have died hating himself that much more, because he had actually promoted Black dance.
Yeah.
In fact, he might have known it. He just might have known it, but they've been able to rewrite history so many times.
They have.
That's
I had to pass square dancing to pass the 4th grade.
No.
Actually, I love that. That you have to pass a dance. Like, can you
That is
imagine
good.
this happening today? No.
We also had to do
Mm.
as many sit-ups as we could for the presidential award, and my friend at age 12 got a hernia.
Oh no.
Well, you know what they
First
say.
you stop that
What
fucking
weakens you kills
patch.
you.
Dang, for the presidential award.
She was like, her dad was a coach. She was like, oh God, oh God.
Man.
Okay,
That's
so
crazy.
is there any way that, because we were talking about the redistricting and stuff, that we could discuss what the hell is happening here in Texas with the voter suppression? I'd like a little, is it real Georgia-esque? I mean, are we following Georgia? Are we doing our own screwed up thing to ourselves?
I mean, we've been cheating in elections for decades. This is nothing new. The fact that we have single member district representation as our election system means that gerrymandering is a possibility. There are places at the local level that have, and at the state level, that have made an attempt to interrupt gerrymandering. So for example, in Austin, the way the districts are designed is based, there's a committee that's created they go through every step they can to create a committee that's nonpartisan. And you know, the results were pretty good the first time. We'll see what the results are after the census, but you could make the effort to make it so that gerrymandering is hard. There are some states, for example, like Arizona has done this, where they have a nonpartisan commission that does the districting. In the state of Texas, the House and the Senate do the districting. In the event that the House and the Senate can't agree and then send the governor something to sign, then it becomes a 5-person commission that does the districting. And that 5-person commission, of course, are from the elected executive and then the Speaker of the House. So there's 4 people from the elected executive. And then those 5 people draw the lines wherever the hell they want to. I mean, they could just, and so at that point, you need to know that no matter what happens, the districts will be completely corrupt, which, by the way, is the very definition of vote rigging, right? Like if I stuff the ballots, I create an outcome, we call it vote rigging. If I draw the districts in such a way that I create an outcome, that is the very definition of vote rigging. And so Texas is by definition a rigged election.
So basically it's like stacking the courts.
Yeah, and so just to give you an idea of where we are. So when the Democrats owned Texas, they did gerrymander. There's no 2 ways about it. So I'll give you an example. In 2000, the Democrats, it was still the Democratic map because the Republicans didn't get to draw the map until 2002. And the Democrats won 49%. And they ended up with 17 of the 32 seats. And the Republicans, who had won 51%, ended up with 15 of the 32 seats. And so, right, you know, it should have probably been 16-16, but it, you know, so that the Republicans could have the majority, since they won the majority, it should have been 17-15.
Right.
So there was a little bit of gerrymandering in place. There's no 2 ways about it. The Republicans want to take control of the Texas House. So they did what I just said, where the House and the Senate don't create a map to send to the governor. So it goes to a 5-person commission. 4 of those people were Republicans. 1 person was the Speaker of the House. he can't get his way. The Republicans draw the map. They gerrymander the Texas state houses so that the Texas House in 2002 then flips Republican. That's when Tom DeLay flies to Austin, right? His job is in Washington, D.C. He flies to Austin for the 2003 Texas legislative session to try and talk Republicans into redistricting again. And they redistrict again. And when they do—
How is that even? I thought you could redistrict every 10 years.
So I'll get to that.
Okay.
So when they do it, instead of it being 17-15 like it was, they flipped 6 seats for the Texas delegation, the United States House of Representatives. So it ended up being 11-21. Like, this is a profound, massive shift. It goes to the Supreme Court in LULAC v. Perry, 2006. I'm hesitating because it might have been 2005.
When you say LULAC, do you mean, is that a name of someone? Or are you talking about the group?
It stands for League of United Latin American Citizens.
I didn't know if that's who you're talking about, or if there was actually a person named LULAC. I didn't.
That would be a cool name,
right?
So they sue Governor Perry, and it goes all the way to the United States Supreme Court. And the United States Supreme Court, in a 5-4 decision, ruled several really fascinating things. One of them was, and the number in my head is District 26, but please don't quote me on that. It's probably wrong. The district that is on the Rio Grande, basically in between Laredo and El Paso, that district was traditionally a Mexican district, but that they had gerrymandered it to be a white district. And that violated the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and therefore was unconstitutional. So they made Texas redraw that district. But then they said racial gerrymandering is unconstitutional, but then they said political gerrymandering doesn't exist. And the reason is because all district drawing is political because a political entity is in charge. Therefore, all district drawing is gerrymandering, and anything that describes everything doesn't exist because there's no exception to prove its existence. Therefore, there is no such thing as political gerrymandering.
Oh my God.
And then they said, as an aside, and besides, the Democrats used to gerrymander Texas. It's just the Republicans' turn to do it.
Right.
Which then admits that there is such a thing as political gerrymandering after they just said there wasn't. So it was a really interesting 5-4 decision. Kennedy said in the decision, I'm open to the idea there is political gerrymandering. I would need to see the data. So that's how that ended. Texas had to redistrict again so they could draw a new, whatever that district on the Rio Grande is, so that it would be a Mexican district. And the result was that we redistricted 3 times after the 2000 census. Not once, 3 times.
And my district got fucked. District 21.
Yeah.
It looks like the state of New York, I think.
That's not bad, yeah, because it's like a box with a thing that hooks down to San Antonio and then shoots up to Austin. Yeah, it's a ridiculous district.
Hey, Ramesh.
Hey, Ramesh, what's happening?
Good morning. How you doing?
Hello. Good morning.
We're talking about voter suppression in Texas.
Wow.
Your favorite.
The new bill. Yeah.
So
the new.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say we do it again after 2010 and we redistrict 3 times. And the Supreme Court still ruled it was unconstitutional and was going to come back and make us do it a 4th time. And then we said, why? It's going to take us so long to redistrict a 4th time. And the Supreme Court said, yeah, don't worry about it. Just district again, which is what we're going to do now in this congressional session. And it's going to be gerrymandered again in this absurd, ridiculous way.
Man, I got gerrymandered right the hell out of Lloyd Doggett's district and into who I think at the time was, I want to say Lamar Smith. Yeah. I was so disappointed, and there's nothing I can do about it because all of those other voters in the box are, West Texas, and they don't vote.
I mean, Wendy Davis lost
people.
The last election.
I know. Both of them that she ran, she lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just, I don't understand. I don't understand how it is. I mean, now they're closing the polls, the polling places. They are closing driver's license places. I just found this out because I have to get my ID, and they're closing them all over the place. And it's not COVID related that I can tell because they take appointments, so if you can't get an ID, and they're starting to ask for the real IDs, I think they might ask for real IDs next presidential election. And then what are these, and how do they register to vote? Where do they register to vote? I just think they're making this more and more difficult for people who don't have cars, who can't drive, 40 miles to the next town. People in Horton have to drive all the way into Houston to vote. There's no polling place between Horton and Houston. What? That's like 90 miles.
And it looks like in that bill also they're trying to make it so that people with disability, that they have to prove what disability they have. That's just crazy. Wow. It's like,
you mean when you go to vote?
I'm sorry. If you want to do the vote by mail portion of that, they want to make them prove which disability they have. I'm just trying to look at more of the details of it all.
That's HIPAA. I'm not telling you shit. No way. No way. I'm telling you anything. That's a HIPAA violation. You can't do that.
Dang.
I mean, just like you can walk into a grocery store with a ferret and call support animal. They can't ask you why you have it. Why do you have what's wrong with you? You know, it's illegal. You can't ask that. Nobody can ask you that. I mean, right?
Yeah, as far as I know.
The government can't go and find, although they did say that doctors could lie to women who were pregnant. They did. That's now okay. So maybe they are changing it.
Wait, what is that?
Women who are pregnant, Texas has given, I don't know if it's just Texas, but they gave the right to doctors, OBG, mostly, I'm sure that, you know, obstetrics, that they can, in fact, lie to a mother that there's nothing genetically wrong with the child.
Oh, yes.
If there is something wrong genetically with the child, so that they don't abort.
Okay.
So now you can't even trust your doctor. Women can't trust our doctors.
Sorry, I don't think I've ever trusted my doctor, but yeah, okay.
I had to trust him enough to cut my neck open. So,
my kids' doctors. My kids' doctor. I'm thinking about flipping to a different one. I hear that. Yeah, because their that office is. Oh, to me, that office has always been kind of a little iffy, and I was trying to push meds, and they're like, the last time my daughter went for her, she's 13, so she did her checkup. The nurse was like, let me see your face. He's like, it's so sad that they're making kids wear these masks. And then I was like, wait, what did you just say? Like, we're out of here. Yeah. I thought that was
shocking.
Really weird.
It's so shocking.
It is. It's like coming from.
Wait a minute, Roy. Did you leave and not wait? Did you leave after the visit, or did you leave right then? What happened?
No, after the visit. It was a mental, like, well, we're out of here. We're looking for a different doctor.
He was still in shock.
Yeah. I was like, what are you? You're anti-mask? You're a nurse. Like, what are you saying right now?
He's writing the check for the copay, and he's still like,
yeah, what just happened?
Yeah.
Man. Dang.
Well, I don't know. I'm not so here's a question. If, for example, I wanted to get involved and say I really want to fight against this particular re-gerrymandering, or can I fight for my own, for a fair gerrymandering? How would I go about doing that?
If you wanted to fight for a fair gerrymandering?
Or just or to stop.
So, first of all, what is a fair gerrymandering? I mean, undoing the gerrymandering is what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
undoing, or fair meaning if you're going to district me and represent, someone, then don't put me in Hayes County. I put me in Austin, where my people vote.
I mean, I think the only real solution is to just get rid of single member district representation and switch over to proportional or single transferable vote. But we'll never do that because the Demoblicans and the Republicans like this system. It's why there's a two-party system. Right. They're never going to concede this. So then the only options are, well, there's a few. So one of them is to do the Louisiana primary. Louisiana innovated this crazy concept of making you win a majority instead of being able to win with a plurality. So if you have three people running and one gets 45, another one gets 35, and the other guy gets 20%, the guy in 47 states, well, throw Maine out, so 46 states with the 45% wins. But in Louisiana, California and Washington State, those three do the Louisiana primary. You have to have a majority. So what'll happen is the person with the 35 and the 45 will go do a runoff, and then whoever wins the runoff gets the seat. And then what they do is they stack everybody from all the parties in that same race. So if you have a bunch of Republicans running in a primarily Republican district, it's entirely possible that the Democrat could win if the Republicans could win first or second place if the Republicans split their vote enough, or the other way around. This almost happened in California in 2018. There were 3 districts where there were a bunch of Democrats running and like 1 Republican, and everybody was, or sorry, 2 Republicans, and everybody was worried that the 2 Republicans would get first and second place, and then they would lose the district.
Yeah.
Trying to talk some of these Democrats, no, they didn't lose anything, but it was scary. And they were trying to talk some of the Democrats who are running, like, please drop out of the race. But the result could be that a third party could get in there, right? Because and so that was a huge improvement. Another thing that happened is Maine switched over to rank voting. So they do a system where you actually, there's a list of candidates and you rank order them, and then you cast your ballot, and that's also a fix. So we have 4 states that aren't completely stupid. And then on top of that, there are
Louisiana is one.
And
I know.
Innovated. And then
go,
the other one is Maine and Louisiana are the hubs of democracy in the United States.
Not only do they have good food, they have good voting.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just gonna say Huey Long, and we'll move on.
So then the other solution is what states like Arizona have done. The last time I looked, I think it was 17 states have implemented something like this. So in 2012, that's the year in my head, but it's almost certainly wrong. They put a proposition on the ballot to take the district drawing away from the Arizona state legislature. It passed.
Yeah.
The Arizona state legislature sued.
Oh, God.
And it went to the Supreme Court, and the court case is Arizona state legislature versus the state of Arizona 2014.
Wow. Wow.
And here's what's crazy. The United States Supreme Court, which was 5 conservatives and 4 liberals, voted in favor of the people of Arizona, and the Arizona state legislature was defeated, and it stayed in place. And what's happened to Arizona? All of a sudden, a bunch of Democrats are winning stuff like cinema. And of course, that's not a gerrymandering issue, but nonetheless, Arizona has suddenly purpled. The state legislature is still firmly Republican, but we're starting to see a loosening up of the state. A similar thing happened in North Carolina, and not quite as dramatic. They didn't change the way they did the districts. It's still one of the most gerrymandered states in the union, but some of the voter suppression laws had loosened up in time for the 2008 election, and Obama won North Carolina. And one of the things that's amazing about that is it turns out, this is going to blow your mind, but if you stop the voter suppression and gerrymander less, the results and the voting changes.
Wow.
I think Putin knows that too.
Well, Putin knows American history better than our last president did. That's for sure. I bet if they had taken a citizenship test, I know that Putin would now be a citizen. Yeah, it's have you guys, just to slide into something real quick off topic, have you noticed how similar Matt Gaetz and Butthead from Beavis and Butthead resemble one another?
Wait, who's Matt Gaetz?
I saw something about that.
I mean, dead on, they look alike. They've even got the
Wait, I didn't hear about this. What?
Matt Gaetz? You didn't hear about Matt Gaetz? Oh,
he's a Trump supporting Republican who
Is this some time ago? It's like,
no, it's
no,
happening
this
right
is
now.
right now. He trafficked a young girl.
He took her across
Traffic?
state lines, which is officially trafficking
okay.
at that point.
And you know what's really pissing me off about this is they keep calling these girls underage prostitutes.
Well, yeah, one of the reasons they're doing that, of course, is because the Department of Justice apparently is investigating that Gates was giving them money.
Yeah, but you can't be an underage prostitute.
I am there.
They are victims.
Yeah, but it's an attempt to shame and victimize the women for sure. But that's what we do, right? Our minds go, oh, there was money transference, they must be prostitutes.
Well, that's why we have to fight back. I've been hearing, underage girls too.
Mhm.
Well, that seems redundant, right? So I mean, either you're a pedophile or you're dating an underage prostitute or an underage girl. It's not how it works.
Yeah, why put it on the women? That's ridiculous. That's gross. Yeah.
Oh, and they said, it was consensual. She's too young to consent. This is where we're missing it, And Matt Gaetz apparently also was going on dating apps. Well, dating and getting women like saying there'll be $1,000 at this hotel if you meet us there. And then they would take ecstasy and get drunk and have sex. And, he has like 4 DUIs or something in Florida. He's been, there's mugshots of him floating around. He's a bad, bad person. And I hope God he goes to jail.
Just for richness purposes. How old is this man?
He's younger than we are.
I think he's in his 30s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's young. He's a young guy. He's a frat. He's a frat rat. He's still playing that frat rat game.
Yeah. Have y'all seen the thing taking place in France around the age of consent?
No. Have they made it? Have they made it go higher, please?
They're trying. So there was a case where a young girl, she was rescued by firefighters repeatedly. She had seizures in the classroom, something like this. And so there was a group of firemen who would come to her classroom, rescue her repeatedly. And at one point they started texting her flirtatiously. And then over the course of the 2 years, 20 firemen, raped her on repeated occasions. And so there's a renewed effort to institute a law of an age of consent, which, France has never formally defined an age of consent.
Oh, you're talking about France.
I'm talking about France now. Yeah.
They do things very differently.
Very differently. Yeah.
They have,
and this is, on the heels of, right, what is the latest in the hijab ban, where anyone under the age of 18 cannot, is seen as being unable to consent to hijab and is not able to wear hijab in public places.
Right.
They're not allowed to?
They're not allowed to wear it?
Well, give me a second. They're not allowed to wear now under the age of 18.
That's not cool.
What?
What? I don't understand that. I really don't understand that.
Yeah, anyone under the age of 18 in public cannot be wearing hijab now.
Okay, and I've got this real wrong, but I thought it was just a religious thing, that a tradition of that Muslims had. They cover their hair. If you read the Bible, that's what happened with the Nephilim. They, or the Old Testament, is that they lusted after the women's hair. Also happened in Greek mythology. So, the angels came down and mated with the real women, the human women, and then created these monsters, which the Bible references as giants roaming the earth. And of course I know as the Titans. But where was I going with that?
About the hijab being part of the religion.
Oh yeah. So nuns even do it, right? Nuns wear that. So
actually, if in the New Testament, Paul is very clear that women who are in a church should have their hair covered.
So yeah.
As should men, right?
I don't know.
No.
Okay.
It's women.
Just women.
So what is that? Why
Would
would
sit
you
behind the men
and should never speak either.
and shouldn't speak either?
Okay, so you see the hijab as is that a form of oppression to you? Is that what it is, or is it just a religious tenet that they hold dearly?
Wait a minute. We got 6 minutes to the end.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna
having this conversation.
I know.
Yeah,
we got 6 minutes. This might be another show.
I think we
Okay,
should
well-
flag and save the hijab topic
should
for
definitely
later,
really
as well as the France versus the US. I just wanted to pull it in to think about, how do we think about consent differently, and ages of consent differently here and in France, and how ridiculous and crazy
about different
that
things.
was.
Consent
Yeah.
about
in
different
most
France,
things.
you can't consent to covering your hair, but you can consent to
25
having sex when you're
You
11.
don't need to. Yeah, there's no prerequisite of consent
Yeah.
to be.
Right.
Yes.
But
Right.
they banned baseball caps for boys under 18 in France.
What?
Depends on which team.
I mean,
No.
No, if it's
PSG.
baseball caps, they're burning all of them anyway.
Don't be so
Dang.
sure. Don't be so sure.
Man.
Seen a lot of PSG hats in my lifetime. Not
What's
cowboy
PSG?
hats. That would be fun though. A cowboy hat instead of a baseball hat. I mean,
Or
if you
like
could get
the
a
team.
yeah, PSG
PSG's
is
that
Paris.
brand, right? Yeah.
No, it's Paris Saint-Germain. It's the soccer team. One of
Oh.
Oh, it's a
France's
soccer
soccer
team.
team.
Okay.
Major soccer. It's Paris's soccer team. So
Oh.
my favorite. And they
Yeah.
won the World Cup. So there. What?
Wow.
They did it. They
Well,
were on
France
it.
did. France did, and it was majority of the PSG players. I'm sure everyone is fascinated by this. But yes, I would really.
France wins the World Cup. It's actually Africa that won the World
Oh
Cup.
yeah, that
Because
too.
there's literally one white French player who has a scar all the way down his face, and you're like,
That's a
"Dude, what
fact.
happened?" And you can't watch the game without just staring at his scar.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh.
It's true.
Oh, you're saying they were distracted. You're saying the team was distracted by the scar? That's pretty funny. Dang.
Yeah. He was really
Man.
good though. To be fair, he was
Yeah,
really good.
very, very good. Yeah, he was good enough. He could play on an all-black team
Yeah. Dang.
Well, they're not all black though.
because there's a bunch of Arabs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Okay,
yeah.
an all-African team.
African. Yeah, yeah,
There
absolutely.
we
you
go.
go.
There
There
we
we
go.
go.
Well,
Never
you
got
know,
into the Africa thing.
well,
Yeah.
half of that country was a French colony, so it was the biggest mistake I think for Algeria to want back into France. I wish they hadn't wanted to do that. I think that it just made a bad situation worse. In my opinion, I was living there when that happened, and I just feel like the racism shot up like nobody's business. It was just crazy. It was crazy. I lived there illegally, worked illegally, never got stopped once. And everybody, I mean, the gendarme would walk up and down the train and stop people, but not me.
Yeah.
I should have been. I was totally working under the radar. So go to France. Well, not anymore. In the 90s, you should have gone to France.
Gone to France and stayed there.
Yep.
Dang. Oh, dang.
It was so great to hang out with you guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As
you
it
get to
is.
take off.
As is always. I actually am taking a friend of mine who is a fairly solid Christian. I'm going to take her to lunch for Easter. So
Oh.
the atheist is going to take someone very Christian to lunch because I love her so much, but I don't need a father figure punishing me to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Well
It's
put.
yeah. It's pretty much what my other group is. Yesterday we spent the day. We bagged 360 backpacks with our Austin Atheists Helping the Homeless group. So they're out delivering those today. It was that's the most backpacks we've done. Our most bags we've done and backpacks. 360 backpacks is we never done backpacks before, so that was awesome. Like
That's
that.
so cool, man. I wish you guys were getting more press for that. You know, that's a big deal. It
Yeah, it's all
really
good.
is.
We just do it for the love. But
That's why you should. And we all love what we do here.
Yeah. And we want anyone has any closing statements, Ramesh? You joined us a little late. Yeah, before we take off.
No closing statements. Happy to be here. Excited to keep the conversation going next time. Yeah.
Yes.
And
I really do
Susie, how
wanna
did you
thank-
phrase it? Your fairly Christian friend. Is that how you said it?
No, she's very Christian.
Oh, very Christian. Okay, on this Easter day,
Very
keep your
Christian.
very Christian friends in mind.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. It's a special day for them, so I'm
When
happy
is
for
the
that.
Roy? Do you know how does Easter correspond to when is actual Easter and when is Easter celebrated by the Coptic Church?
It's next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is fake Easter, just like there's fake Christmas.
That's fake news, Roy.
Yeah, and January 7th is Christmas.
Dang. It'd be better if it was January 7th, I think. I think it needs to be closer to when we can actually get snow on the ground. To me, that makes it better.
Or at least
Extend
not
Christmas.
At least not so close to Thanksgiving. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still trying to digest my turkey. Well, I don't eat turkey, but I'm still trying to digest before here it is again. More of the same food.
More celebration. more partying and
More
getting-
mayonnaise. More mayonnaise.
More mayonnaise. More mayonnaise.
What is
Dang.
white people and mayonnaise? I feel like Seinfeld. What is the deal with white people and mayonnaise?
I love
Miracle Whip is
mayonnaise.
better.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Miracle Whip is
I
better.
love mayonnaise. Yes.
Really?
One of the best foods in the world, mayonnaise.
Well,
potato salad.
do you make
for
your
sure.
own?
No.
Oh, I had to make my own in culinary school. It's so hard.
You went to culinary school?
Yeah, but don't get excited.
I'm
Susie's
only
catering the
excited
next
'cause, oh
episode.
my God, why does Ted Cruz look like this these days? What has happened to him?
He
Why
looks
did
like
he-
a cornered
He has the
badger.
beard,
I
right? With the
know.
beard. With the beard. His
Yeah.
beard from
and the
Saw.
hair and all of that.
The slick back. I don't know. He's gross anyway. I don't know why he still has a wife.
So my closing thought is Ted Cruz on, I think it was March 20th, right around March 20th, spoke to ALEC, the conservative
Oh,
group, and he basically said, we need to do everything we can to voter suppress. And
What was his wording? Do you know?
he said something effective. We would be better off if murderers and pedophiles were voting than basically people of color. And we need to do everything we can to prevent the Democrats from passing any kind of legislation that makes better access for voting. He might not have said pedophiles, but that's what I remember. Murderers and pedophiles. Anyway,
Jesus.
yeah. So
Well, I mean, they're pedophiles, so there you go.
I
You
mean,
know,
just Dennis Hastert and Foley,
Roy
and
Moore,
Gates and Roy Moore. I mean, it's just a few of them.
bad apples, bad apples.
I mean, there are just a lot of them.
That's why they project it, though.
If we,
the
if
pizza
we
parlor.
elect enough of those pedophiles, they'll end the Democratic pizza pedophile.
Parlor gate.
The
Pizza
trick is
gate.
to elect enough of them to office.
I think that we have some plenty of pedophiles there, so like attracts
Trump.
like. We'll see.
Like Trump.
Like Trump.
Alrighty, y'all. Dr. Madinejad, you have anything to close
I
out?
love you, Roy. Thank you for repeatedly trying. I appreciate you.
Madinejad.
Banish is just fine though. Thank you. Yeah, no, I don't have any closing thoughts. No. Just happy to
Nothing.
be here. And yeah.
Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, thank you for tuning in to Red Peace Machine. We will see you next week.
Bye y'all.
Bye.
Bye.